The power of compound interest allows you to swiftly double your money in the event that you receive a high rate of return. So how will you determine what rate of return you'll need in the following 3, 5, or 10 years to double your money? The Rule of 72 is a technique that can help you with that. There's nothing out of the ordinary about the Rule of 72. It's a tried and true formula that both experienced and novice investors use on a daily basis to calculate how long it'll take for their investment in a specific stock, a retirement account, or a savings account to double. Hello, and welcome to Stealth Wealth. In this video, you'll learn many strategies to live a life where money just comes to you. The Rule of 72 is a basic formula for calculating how long it'll take an investment to double given a set annual rate of interest. Investors can get an approximate idea of how long it'll take for their initial investment to double by dividing 72 by the annual rate of return. The Rule of 72, in Albert Einstein's opinion, was a more significant finding than his relativity theory. This rule was initially mentioned by Luca Pacioli, who is known as the father of accounting. It's practically everyone's ambition to be able to double their money in a short period of time. How many times have you wished on a shooting star to have 6 figures in your bank account when you wake up the next morning? I'm here to assure you that it's achievable. It's not just a fantasy. The Rule of 72 is the quickest approach to determine how long it'll take for you to double your money at a particular fixed interest rate. But even if you don't want to double your money, knowing how long it would take will help you estimate when you would reach your target portfolio size. The majority of people use calculators to simplify the difficult mathematical process of learning how to compute compound interest. Finding out what your fixed compound yearly interest rate is what you need to get started. You need to split it into 72 once you know this, hence the Rule of 72. The quotient is the period of time needed for the value of your investment to double. The majority of people are accustomed to expressing percentages in decimal form when performing math. For example, 4% would be represented as 0.04. In contrast, keep in mind that if you don't preserve the rate as a whole number, your response will be horribly inaccurate. The Rule of 72 is shown mathematically in the following manner. Take 72 and divide it by the expected rate of return. For instance, divide 72 by 5 if you anticipate receiving an interest rate of 5%. The result is 14.4. This is how many years it'll take you to double your money. There are lots of benefits to following this guideline. For instance, you can easily and rapidly assess whether you're keeping up with the times. Additionally, you can make sure that your financial decisions are being made in the appropriate way, because it indicates how many years it'll take for the value of the initial sum to decrease by half rather than double. It can also be used to calculate inflations. Having stated that, there are certain drawbacks to applying this rule. For instance, it can only be used with assets that compound interest once a year. Due to its inability to calculate rates below and beyond 6% and 10% respectively, this rule also has some accuracy issues. Nevertheless, resist the temptation to let these drawbacks push you away from the Rule of 72. Contact a financial advisor who can help you by thoroughly explaining this rule and putting you in the right direction. Be sure to stay till the end for the best tips on doubling your money. Also, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more financial tips and advice. The Rule of 72 only applies to compound interest, as was previously established. Understanding the compound interest law and its potency gives you the key to unlocking the door to financial success. Let's talk about compound interest after we've discussed the rule itself. Compound interest is what allows you to accumulate wealth over time. The longer your investment's made, the more it grows. How? So, as you earn interest on your initial investment, those earnings are added to the original amount. This generates more earnings, which can then be reinvested. It's a powerful cycle with the potential for tremendous growth. The Rule of 72 illustrates how quickly your money can grow without any additional investment from you. In other words, the cycle continues as the interest on your initial deposits is added to your original investment. In short, invest your money in it and then set it aside. Now you'll apply the Rule of 72 to determine how long it'll take to double your present funds. Divide your interest rate, let's say it's 6%, by 72. This is how long it'll take for you to double your money. 62 divided by 6 gives us 12. When it comes to compound interest, go for one with a high interest rate because the faster it doubles, the higher the interest rate. To find out how quickly your bank account can grow, contact a financial advisor. Ask for the best compound interest rate and apply the Rule of 72. Your assets can be evaluated using the Rule of 72. We all wish to invest at some time in our lives, and you can utilize this guideline to gain valuable knowledge about how long it'll take for your money to double. As a result, if you're thinking about investing, the rule of 72 might help you estimate when you might get a 100% return on your investment. As long as you also consider the concept of compound interest, the rule of 72 will work in your favor, regardless of the type of investment you make. Most families intend to keep investing over time, frequently on a monthly basis. If you have a current balance, an average rate of return, and a target amount, you can forecast how long it'll take to reach that amount. If you have $100,000 invested now earning 10% interest and you're 22 years away from retirement, you may anticipate seeing your money grow 3 times from $100,000 to $200,000 to $400,000 and to even $800,000. Use the findings from the rule of 72 to help you decide how to continue investing over time if your interest rate changes or you need more money due to inflation or other circumstances. Additionally, the rule of 72 can also be applied to choosing between risk and reward. You can contrast the 36-year rate of doubling to that of a high-risk investment that returns 10% and doubles in 7 years, for instance, if you have a low-risk investment that pays out 2% interest. Young individuals who are just starting out frequently decide on high-risk investments since they can benefit from high rates of return over numerous doubling cycles. However, as they approach their retirement target amount, those who are close to retiring will probably choose to invest in lower risk accounts because doubling is less crucial than making investments in safer assets. The rate at which prices typically rise over a predetermined length of time is known as the inflation rate. The inflation rate affects things like home products and services. The rule of 72 can be used by investors to calculate how long it'll take for inflation to reduce their purchasing power by half. For instance, if inflation is 8%, you can divide 72 by the rate of inflation to get the number of years it would take for your money to lose half its purchasing value, or 9 years. A loss of 50% in purchasing power would take 9 years or 72 divided by 8. Investors can concretely understand the severity of inflation according to the rule of 72. Although it may not persist at a high level for so long, inflation has, over a number of years, seriously diminished the purchasing power of collected assets. Simply said, it costs more to purchase the identical item now than it did this time last year. The rule of 72 tells us how long it'll take to outpace inflation. The price will treble in the following 24 years if, for instance, inflation averages to 3% each year, according to the math. However, 72 divided by 6.8 gets us 10.6 if the inflation rate remains at the current level of 6.8%. Another way of doubling up your money using the rule of 72 is through saving. There are many benefits to using this technique, one of which is the ability to predict when your savings will double. Where do you think of first when it comes to keeping your savings? Keep your savings at home? Is that it? This is obviously too hazardous and losable. Is it traded on a market? So while there's a greater probability of your money increasing, there's also a greater chance of losing money. Maybe you should create a savings account at your neighborhood bank. If you're fortunate, your savings account could earn 1% interest. And to be honest, this is typically the easiest target to hit. Making a budget for savings is an excellent idea, as is setting a goal to save. Now let's have a look at some examples of the rule in action. You should also be aware of when your investment will double. The time it'll take for the investment to double is 72 divided by the rate of return. Let's imagine, for instance, that you want to save $1,000 in the bank. Let's also assume that you'll receive an annual interest rate of 1%. Thus, 72 years is equal to 1% of 72. So if you invest $1,000 today, you can anticipate having $2,000 in 72 years. There are lots of investment plans available that can ensure an annual return rate between 4% and 7%. Now let's use the same previous example. You still have the $1,000, but you now put it towards a savings program like an index with an interest rate guarantee of 5% per year. You just need to do some research and sit down with a financial advisor, and they'll show you much better routes you could take. Therefore, 72 divided by 5 is equal to 14.5 years. As a result, you won't have to wait 72 years to double your investment. It'll happen within 15 years, regardless of how much you invested. It's also secure. 5% is only an illustration. Actual rates might be even higher. When deciding how much to invest, it's crucial to keep the rule of 72 in mind. If you start investing early, even a modest amount can have a significant influence. As you spend more, the impact will grow as the magic of compounding takes its toll. The rule of 72 can also be used to determine how rapidly purchasing power can be lost during times of inflation. Click the like and subscribe button right away, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to update you on my latest videos. Till next time,